Have you ever found yourself haunted by words spoken in haste? Words that slipped out, only to leave a lingering regret, a subtle ache in the heart as you wonder if silence might have served better. It's a feeling we've all experienced, an impulsive remark, a careless comment, and suddenly, the harmony around us seems disrupted. Imagine, though, a different reality. Picture a life where every word you spoke was a seed of peace, where each sentence you crafted built understanding, and every conversation left others feeling uplifted and connected. Today, we're diving into the art of mindful speech, a practice that may seem simple but holds the profound power to transform our relationships and our inner lives. Speaking mindfully isn't just about words, it's about fostering a space of calm within ourselves, reflecting it outward, and creating stronger, more positive connections with those around us. By understanding which topics can disrupt this peace, we can make conscious choices about our words, avoiding conversations that drain or divide and instead embracing the ones that nurture unity and respect. As the Buddha wisely taught, better than 1,000 hollow words is one word that brings peace. This teaching reminds us that it's not the quantity of our words but their quality that matters. And so, we can guide our words by carefully steering clear of certain topics that, though common, can create unnecessary discord, misinterpretation, or even pain. In this journey, we'll explore 11 specific topics that, when avoided or approached mindfully, can free us from the weight of regret and guide us toward a life filled with meaningful connections and peace. From steering clear of gossip to knowing when to hold back future plans, each of these topics teaches us the art of discretion and compassion in our speech. Let's take this path together and discover how choosing our words with care can enrich not only our own lives but the lives of everyone around us. 1. Self-deprecation, practicing self-compassion. Sometimes, our harshest critic is the voice inside our own mind. We might feel like we're holding ourselves accountable, pushing ourselves to be better. But often, this inner dialogue can be filled with criticism, doubt, and self-deprecation. It's easy to fall into patterns of negative self-talk, believing that we're somehow not enough or that our mistakes define us. Yet, when we undermine ourselves in this way, we close off possibilities, limiting our potential and slowly chipping away at our self-worth. Imagine instead if we spoke to ourselves with the same kindness and understanding we would offer to a dear friend. What could be possible if we approached ourselves with compassion rather than criticism? The Buddha reminds us, you yourself, as much as anybody in the entire universe, deserve your love and affection. These words highlight a truth that is easy to forget: we are worthy of our own love, just as we are. Self-compassion isn't about ignoring our flaws or pretending to be perfect, it's about accepting ourselves fully, with kindness and understanding, even when we fall short. This gentle approach gives us the courage to grow and the freedom to pursue our dreams without the weight of constant self-criticism. One way to cultivate self-compassion is by practicing positive self-talk. When you catch yourself thinking, "I'm terrible at this" or "I'll never get it right," pause and challenge those thoughts. Replace them with affirmations that reflect your strengths and your progress. For instance, if you make a mistake at work and find yourself thinking, "I'm so bad at this," take a moment to reframe it. Remind yourself, "I'm learning and improving each day. Mistakes are part of growth." This shift in perspective not only boosts your confidence but also creates a mindset that embraces growth over perfection. Celebrating small wins is another powerful practice. Life is a journey made up of countless small steps, and each one deserves acknowledgement. Instead of waiting for a big success to feel proud, take a moment to appreciate each small victory along the way. Did you finish a challenging task? Take a moment to recognize your effort. Did you make progress, no matter how small? Celebrate that too. By acknowledging these moments, you build a foundation of self-respect and pride that isn't reliant on external validation but on your own inner appreciation. Imagine a scenario where you've made a mistake at work. Instead of spiraling into negative self-talk, remember your past achievements and the ways you've grown. Tell yourself, "I've handled challenges before, and I can handle this too." Each time you choose compassion over criticism, you're reinforcing a positive inner dialogue that encourages resilience and strength. Practicing self-compassion transforms our relationship with ourselves. It allows us to let go of self-imposed limitations, giving ourselves the grace to try, to fail, and to try again. When we stop holding ourselves to impossible standards, we open up to possibilities we might never have considered. This shift isn't about pretending everything is perfect, but about recognizing that, even with imperfections, we are deserving of love, respect, and kindness. So, the next time you feel the pull of self-criticism, pause. Take a breath, and remember that you are worthy of the same compassion you would give to anyone else. Replace doubt with encouragement, celebrate each step, and trust that you are on the path to becoming the best version of yourself, not through harsh words, but through love and acceptance. 2. Judging others, embracing compassion over critique. Let's talk about one of the easiest traps to fall into, yet one of the most powerful to overcome: judging others. How often do we make snap judgments based on a moment, a single interaction, or just a glance? It's all too common to see someone's actions or lifestyle and let our minds instantly label, critique, or assume. But what if, instead of judging, we took a step back, paused, and remembered that each person around us carries a unique set of experiences, struggles, and dreams? Imagine how freeing it would be to live without the need to judge, without the weight of comparisons or silent critiques. When we judge, we close off our minds and hearts, creating invisible walls between ourselves and others. And these walls don't just block connection, they hold us back from understanding, compassion, and, ultimately, from growing ourselves. The Buddha taught us, do not judge others, or you too will be judged. This isn't only about how others may see us in return, but about understanding that judgment often says more about us than it does about the person we're judging. When we feel the urge to judge, it can actually be an opportunity to learn about our own fears, biases, or insecurities. Are we judging because we see something in others that we wish we could change in ourselves? Or perhaps we feel unsettled by their actions because they remind us of a fear or vulnerability we haven't addressed within. When we pause to reflect on these impulses, we gain a powerful insight into ourselves. We start to see how these judgments are not about others at all, they're reflections of our own inner world. This self-awareness can be incredibly liberating. With each instance, we're given a choice, to hold on to the judgment or to release it with compassion. The next step is empathy. When you notice yourself judging, take a moment to imagine what it's like to be in the other person's shoes. Picture their daily life, their struggles, the things that might weigh on their heart. Perhaps you see a coworker who's always behind on their tasks. It's easy to think they're lazy or disorganized. But what if you knew they were dealing with a difficult home life, health issues, or a quiet internal battle with anxiety or self-doubt? Shifting from judgment to empathy opens up the space for kindness and support. Instead of assuming, you could ask, "Is there anything I can help you with?" These simple words may mean the world to someone who's quietly struggling. And you'll find that letting go of judgment doesn't just make others feel accepted, it brings a lightness to your own heart. You start to feel less weighed down by resentment, frustration, or superiority. What replaces it is a quiet peace, a warm openness toward the people in your life. Judging others can feel instinctive, but with practice, empathy can become second nature. When we choose to see the good or even the struggle in others, we start to experience a sense of unity. Everyone is facing their own battles, learning their own lessons. When we accept this, judgment loses its grip on us, and compassion takes its place. Let's remember that we're all here together, on this shared journey. By releasing judgment and embracing understanding, we open our hearts to others and to ourselves. We replace barriers with bridges, and with every step toward compassion, we bring more peace, more kindness, and more connection into the world. 3. Complaining, cultivating a spirit of gratitude. How often do we find ourselves caught in a spiral of complaints? A traffic jam, a long line at the store, a difficult day at work, small frustrations seem to arise everywhere, and it's all too easy to give them our full attention. We may not realize it, but each complaint takes a piece of our energy, filling our day with feelings of lack, dissatisfaction, or frustration. Imagine if, instead of dwelling on what's wrong, we could train ourselves to see what's right, to find beauty and purpose in even the smallest details. This is the art of cultivating gratitude, a simple but profound shift that can elevate our mood, deepen our relationships, and transform our lives. The Buddha reminds us, let us rise up and be thankful, for if we didn't learn a lot today, at least we learned a little. This wisdom teaches us that every day holds something worth cherishing, some small piece of goodness or growth, even in the most challenging moments. Complaints keep us focused on what's lacking, on things beyond our control, but gratitude brings us back to what's present, to what's already enough. When we shift our attention to gratitude, we free ourselves from the constant cycle of dissatisfaction and begin to see life as an unfolding gift. One way to start cultivating this mindset is with a simple daily practice: write down 3 things you're grateful for every day. These don't need to be big accomplishments or grand events. Often, it's the small things that hold the most meaning: the warmth of the sun on your skin, a smile from a stranger, the comfort of a favorite meal. Over time, you'll notice that this small ritual of gratitude becomes a lens through which you view life, helping you to see abundance instead of scarcity. Instead of looking for what's missing, you start seeing what's present, what's here for you in each moment. Another powerful technique is reframing challenges as lessons. Life isn't without its hardships, and sometimes our first reaction is to complain when things don't go as planned. But what if, in that moment, we paused and asked ourselves, what can I learn from this? For example, you're stuck in traffic, and frustration starts to build. Rather than getting lost in complaints, you could choose to think of a positive memory, recall a goal you're excited about, or even use the time to breathe and reflect. You might find that this practice helps you see challenges as part of your growth, turning moments of frustration into moments of insight. Imagine the effect this can have on the people around you. When you stop complaining and start showing gratitude, you become a source of positivity. Friends and family might begin to feel lighter around you, more uplifted and inspired. Instead of joining in a cycle of complaints, you're inviting others into a space of peace and appreciation. Over time, you'll notice that people respond to this shift, that you start to draw connections rooted in joy and gratitude, and that your relationships deepen in meaningful ways. Gratitude isn't just about saying thank you, it's about feeling it, embodying it, letting it become the way you see the world. Life may not always be easy, but by cultivating gratitude, we discover that even in the hard moments, there's something to hold on to, something that reminds us of life's beauty, resilience, and grace. So next time you feel the urge to complain, pause. Look around, breathe, and ask yourself, what can I be grateful for in this moment? Each time you choose gratitude over complaint, you're choosing to fill your life with warmth, positivity, and a sense of calm that radiates outwards, touching everyone you meet. Let's rise up and be thankful, not only for the big things but for the small, quiet moments that make life so rich. 4. Talking about future plans, staying grounded in the present. There's a special kind of thrill that comes with dreaming big, with picturing the life you want to build and all the possibilities that await. We feel inspired, excited, and naturally, we want to share these dreams with those around us. Yet, in our eagerness to talk about our future plans, we sometimes lose touch with the present moment, the only place where real change happens. When we focus too much on what's to come, we may find that the pressure to achieve grows before we've even taken our first steps. It's like placing a heavy weight on a delicate seed that's only just been planted. Instead, we can choose to protect that seed, nurturing it quietly as it begins to grow. The Buddha reminds us, do not dwell in the past, do not dream of the future, concentrate the mind on the present moment. This wisdom encourages us to give our dreams space to unfold naturally, allowing our actions to do the talking. By keeping our goals close and sharing only when they've matured, we free ourselves from the pressure of others' expectations. It's not about hiding our aspirations but about allowing them the room they need to breathe and develop without unnecessary scrutiny or doubts. A powerful way to stay grounded in the present is by setting small, achievable daily goals. Think of each day as a building block for the life you want. Rather than focusing on the final destination, concentrate on what you can do today to move forward. If your dream is to start a business, focus on one task each day that brings you closer to that reality, whether it's researching your market, learning a new skill, or saving a little more towards your goal. Each small step becomes a quiet commitment to yourself, a promise that you're working towards something meaningful without feeling the need to announce it. Another helpful approach is to limit how often and with whom you share your plans. There's a special strength in keeping certain dreams private until they're strong enough to stand on their own. Imagine you're planning this new business. Rather than discussing every idea and hurdle with others, you choose to wait until you've reached a milestone, a tangible sign of progress. When you finally share, you'll be able to speak with the confidence that comes from having taken real action. And in that way, your words carry a quiet power, a strength that says, "This isn't just a dream, it's already becoming reality." Sharing too soon can sometimes lead to unintended doubts or pressures. When others weigh in on our plans too early, their opinions, however well-meaning, can create hesitations. Even supportive comments can add a layer of expectation that may feel heavy before we're ready to carry it. By holding back, by giving ourselves the space to grow at our own pace, we can work on our dreams without that external pressure, moving with intention and clarity. Staying focused on the present not only protects our goals but enriches our experience of life as it is right now. When we stop fixating on the future, we start to notice the beauty of each step, each small victory, and each lesson learned along the way. We realize that the journey itself holds just as much value as the destination. And we become more resilient, more grounded, and more fulfilled. So, as you move forward with your dreams, remember to keep them close, to nurture them in the present without rushing into the future. Work quietly, diligently, and let your actions be the voice of your ambition. You'll find that, when the time is right, your dreams will have blossomed into something real, something you can share with pride and confidence. Embrace the present moment, knowing that every step you take today is leading you exactly where you need to go. 5. Criticizing others, practicing empathy and self-reflection. Sometimes, our impulse to criticize others reveals more about us than about them. It can be a mirror, reflecting our own insecurities, fears, or frustrations. Imagine if, instead of jumping to point out flaws, we took a moment to pause, reflect, and ask ourselves, why do I feel the need to judge? What does this reaction say about me? The Buddha reminds us, to understand everything is to forgive everything. This wisdom encourages us to approach others with empathy rather than judgment, transforming moments of criticism into opportunities for connection and self-awareness. So, next time you feel the urge to critique, pause, breathe, and ask yourself why this bothers you. Maybe it stirs a personal discomfort or something you've struggled with yourself. Shifting from judgment to understanding not only softens your heart but deepens your connection with others. Consider a friend who frequently shares their struggles. Instead of thinking, why can't they just move on? Try listening without judgment. Acknowledge their pain, offering support rather than solutions. You may find they don't need fixing, they just need someone who understands. This choice to empathize over critique can transform your relationship, showing them, and yourself, the power of compassionate listening. Choosing empathy over criticism doesn't mean ignoring faults. It means focusing on understanding that everyone, like ourselves, is a work in progress. When we see others with compassion, we replace walls of judgment with bridges of connection. Each time we choose to understand, we contribute to a world that feels safe and accepting, both for others and for ourselves. 6. Arguing, valuing peace over winning. In a world where everyone has their own beliefs and perspectives, it's easy to get swept up in the need to prove ourselves right. We dive into debates with friends, family, and even strangers, hoping to convince others of our point of view. But how often do these arguments leave us feeling drained, disappointed, or even distanced from those we care about? Imagine if, instead of seeking to win, we focused on seeking understanding. What if we valued harmony over victory? Rumi's words offer a beautiful reminder: the quieter you become, the more you are able to hear. When we let go of the need to argue, we create space to truly listen. To hear not just the words but the heart behind them. In this way, every conversation becomes a doorway to understanding rather than a battlefield. This shift doesn't mean giving up on what we believe, it means recognizing that peace is often more valuable than proving a point. One way to cultivate this peace is through active listening. In the midst of a conversation, especially a heated one, practice letting go of the need to plan your response. Allow the other person to express themselves fully, focusing not on what you want to say next but on truly hearing their thoughts and feelings. This kind of listening can diffuse tension, showing the other person that you respect their perspective, even if it differs from your own. Imagine a scenario at a family dinner where a heated discussion arises. Everyone has strong opinions, and voices begin to rise. Instead of joining in, you take a deep breath, remain calm, and say, "I see where you're coming from." These simple words can shift the entire energy of the conversation, opening a space where people feel heard rather than challenged. This approach doesn't mean you abandon your beliefs, but it means valuing connection over contention. Another way to nurture harmony is to embrace the idea of agreeing to disagree. Not every discussion has to end in total agreement, and that's okay. When we respect different views without feeling the need to prove our own, we release ourselves from the exhausting need to control others' perspectives. Instead, we acknowledge that each person is entitled to their beliefs, just as we are to ours. This respect for diversity in thought is what fosters real, lasting peace. In valuing peace over winning, we open our lives to richer, more meaningful connections. Arguments often drive us apart, while understanding brings us closer together. When we let go of the urge to argue and instead focus on listening, we build a foundation of respect and empathy, creating relationships that thrive not on sameness, but on mutual understanding. So, next time you find yourself in a conversation that's heating up, pause. Breathe. Remember that true strength lies not in overpowering others with words, but in quieting the need to win. In doing so, you'll find a deeper peace, one that connects rather than divides, heals rather than harms. Embrace the silence between words, and let it be a space for growth, compassion, and the kind of harmony that touches everyone involved. 7. Talking about personal problems, finding balance in sharing. Life is full of challenges, and it's natural to want to share our struggles with others. Sometimes, just talking things out can bring comfort, offering us relief in moments of stress. But have you ever noticed that when we share our problems too frequently, it can start to feel like we're carrying them around even more heavily? Instead of bringing peace, constant venting can weigh us down and can even place a burden on those around us. There's a balance to be found, a place where we can process our emotions with care, sharing when needed and also learning to find strength within ourselves. The Buddha's words remind us. Peace comes from within. Do not seek it without. This wisdom teaches us to look inward first, to ground ourselves in our own calm center before looking outward for validation or solutions. When we find peace within, we are able to approach our challenges with a clearer mind and a lighter heart, sharing our struggles in a way that feels balanced and constructive rather than overwhelming. One of the simplest yet most powerful ways to find this inner peace is through journaling. By putting our thoughts and feelings on paper, we create a space where we can express ourselves freely without fear of judgment. Journaling can be a sacred practice, a place where we pour out our hearts, sift through our emotions, and see things from a new perspective. It helps us process our feelings independently, giving us a chance to understand our struggles before seeking advice from others. Imagine you're facing a challenge at work, maybe a difficult project or a strained relationship with a colleague. Instead of venting about it to friends every day, try journaling about your experiences. Write down your frustrations, your hopes, and what you feel might help. Once you've explored your emotions on paper, you may find that the intensity lessens, that you feel clearer about what you actually need. Then, if you still feel the need for support, reach out to a friend, but perhaps ask for advice on a specific aspect of the problem. This way, you're not just repeating the problem, you're moving toward a solution. Another way to find balance is to set a time limit for discussing problems. It's easy to fall into long, drawn-out conversations that end up draining everyone involved. Instead, decide beforehand how long you'll spend talking about an issue, whether it's 5 minutes or 15. Once that time is up, shift the focus to possible solutions or move the conversation in a positive direction. This gentle structure helps us avoid becoming stuck in our struggles and empowers us to take action. When we find this balance between sharing and self-reflection, we not only lighten our own hearts but also respect the emotional space of those around us. Our relationships become less about burdening others with our worries and more about supporting each other in meaningful, constructive ways. We become the kind of friend or family member who brings comfort, not just by venting, but by thoughtfully engaging with life's challenges. So, next time you're faced with a difficult situation, remember to look within first. Write down your feelings, give yourself time to process, and seek support only when you truly need it. By nurturing this inner strength, we create a deep well of peace that can guide us through any hardship, allowing us to face life with resilience, clarity, and calm. 8. Spreading negativity, choosing positivity. Negativity can be a natural reaction to a rough day. We might vent about what went wrong, focusing on frustrations and setbacks. But what we don't realize is how this negativity seeps into the atmosphere, often affecting the mood of everyone around us. Imagine if, instead, we chose to bring a bit of light and warmth, even on hard days, by focusing on the good rather than the bad. This choice not only uplifts our spirits but also transforms the environment around us, making it a place where resilience and joy can grow. The Buddha once said, "Radiate boundless love towards the entire world." With these words, he reminds us of the power we have to influence others, to either lift them up or drag them down. Choosing positivity doesn't mean ignoring the difficult parts of life. It means training ourselves to see the silver linings, to recognize the small moments of kindness and gratitude that exist even in challenging times. A powerful way to shift from negativity to positivity is to reframe our thoughts. When you catch yourself about to complain or speak negatively, pause and ask yourself if there's another perspective. Perhaps your day was tough, but was there a small, bright moment, a kind word from someone, a moment of laughter, or simply the fact that you made it through the day? By focusing on these small positives, we nurture a spirit of gratitude and lighten our own hearts. Imagine coming home after a challenging day. Instead of going over every frustration, choose to share a funny or heartwarming story with your family. Maybe mention the colleague who made everyone laugh or a small accomplishment you're proud of. This shift in storytelling brings lightness to the room, turning what could have been a negative recounting into a moment of connection and joy. It's a small but powerful choice that spreads positivity instead of negativity. Another way to reinforce positivity is to consciously highlight the good or the lesson learned. Even when things don't go as planned, you can choose to focus on what the experience taught you, how you grew, or what you're grateful for despite it all. This not only uplifts those around you but also helps train your mind to see challenges as opportunities for growth and resilience. Choosing positivity over negativity is a practice, one that gradually transforms both your inner world and your interactions. Each time you choose to share the light rather than the darkness, you contribute to a ripple effect of warmth, kindness, and understanding that extends far beyond you. So the next time you feel the pull of negativity, pause and remember, you have the power to choose a different path. By focusing on the good and sharing that with others, your words become a source of comfort and strength, filling your life and the lives of those around you with a sense of calm and joy. 9. Discussing sensitive topics in public, practicing discretion. In our world of diverse perspectives and backgrounds, sensitive topics are bound to come up in conversation. These topics, whether they're about politics, religion, or deeply held beliefs, can quickly spark strong emotions. When we're not careful, a simple discussion can turn into a debate, leaving people feeling misunderstood, defensive, or even hurt. But what if, instead of diving headfirst into these topics, we approach them with a sense of respect and mindfulness? What if we practice discretion and humility, making it our goal to understand rather than to convince? C.S. Lewis offers wise guidance on this. True humility is not thinking less of yourself. It is thinking of yourself less. With this mindset, we're reminded that sensitive conversations aren't about proving we're right or showcasing our opinions. Instead, they're an opportunity to listen, to learn, and to connect with others on a deeper level, respecting the individuality and experiences that shape their views. One way to practice this is to assess the audience before discussing sensitive topics. Consider where you are, who is present, and whether the conversation will add value or cause tension. For instance, a family gathering or a casual social event may not be the best place to explore divisive subjects. When we take a moment to assess the setting, we're more likely to create a space of mutual respect and understanding. Open-mindedness is another crucial tool. When a sensitive subject does come up, try listening without judgment, keeping an open heart to other viewpoints. Even if you don't agree, allow the other person to express themselves fully without interruption. Imagine a scenario where, at a dinner party, someone brings up a controversial topic. Instead of jumping in with your own stance, you could listen calmly and respond with, "I see where you're coming from," or simply ask questions that encourage a deeper understanding. This approach doesn't mean you have to compromise your own beliefs, it simply means creating a space where all voices are respected. By practicing discretion, we give ourselves the freedom to choose peace over conflict. Connection over division. Sensitive conversations don't have to end in agreement, they can end in mutual respect, where both parties feel heard and understood. This builds a foundation of trust and shows that, while we may not share the same views, we honor each other's right to have them. Handling sensitive topics with care is a form of humility and grace. It shows others that, while we have our own beliefs, we're willing to set them aside temporarily to truly listen, to empathize, and to learn from others. By choosing discretion over debate, we invite a sense of calm, acceptance, and open-heartedness into our lives and into our conversations. So, the next time a sensitive topic arises, remember to approach it with care. Assess the moment, listen with an open mind, and focus on understanding rather than responding. In doing so, you'll create an environment where people feel safe to share who they are, and in turn, you'll find that your relationships become richer and more authentic. 10. Gossiping, avoiding idle talk. Gossip can be an easy habit to slip into. In moments of silence or small talk, it's tempting to fill the gaps by discussing others, especially when their stories feel intriguing or when sharing them seems harmless. Yet, gossip does more harm than we often realize. It can spread misunderstandings, hurt feelings, and even damage reputations. Beyond that, gossip reflects back on us, subtly shaping our own minds and hearts. Imagine a different choice. Rather than focusing on others' lives, we could steer our conversations toward kindness, focusing on things that uplift and inspire. A powerful Buddhist proverb captures this well: when you gossip, you end up hurting three people: yourself, the one you speak of, and the one you speak to. This wisdom reminds us that idle talk doesn't just harm the person we're speaking about, it affects our own character and can erode trust in our relationships. To truly connect with others, we need conversations that nurture trust, warmth, and positivity. One way to avoid gossip is through a simple practice of mindfulness. Before you start to speak about someone, pause and ask yourself 3 questions. Is it true? Is it kind? Is it necessary? These questions help us act with integrity, guiding us to speak only words that add value and compassion to the conversation. By practicing this restraint, We shift our focus to what's meaningful and supportive, creating space for connection and understanding. Let's imagine a scenario: you're with friends, and someone brings up a detail about another person's private life. Rather than joining in, you might gently redirect the conversation. Say something like, "Have you heard about that new event happening this weekend?" Or, "I'd love to hear what everyone's looking forward to this month." By focusing on shared experiences or positive topics, you create a space where gossip fades, replaced by a warm and uplifting conversation. Another way to counter gossip is to fill the silence with positivity. Share stories that highlight the good in people, or talk about something you recently learned or appreciated. When we make the choice to speak positively, we set an example, encouraging others to do the same. This kind of talk strengthens bonds, creating an environment where people feel safe, valued, and inspired. Choosing not to gossip is a small but powerful act. It's a commitment to kindness, to protecting others' dignity and honoring our own. When we steer clear of idle talk, we find that conversations become more meaningful, more heartfelt. We start building connections based on respect and positivity rather than shallow judgments or fleeting amusements. So, next time you find yourself tempted to gossip, take a breath. Choose words that lift others, that create peace, that build trust. You'll notice a profound shift, not only in the way others perceive you but in how you feel about yourself. By avoiding gossip, we choose to bring a sense of warmth and understanding into the world, creating relationships that are authentic, compassionate, and filled with a genuine respect for one another. 11. Bragging, choosing humility over self-praise. There's a subtle joy in achieving something meaningful, in reaching a goal or overcoming a challenge. But sometimes, the desire to share these accomplishments turns into the temptation to boast, seeking validation from others to reinforce our worth. We might think that praise will solidify our success, but often, chasing others' approval only leads to a fleeting sense of fulfillment. True joy, however, doesn't come from external validation, it springs from the quiet confidence of knowing our value without needing to announce it. Imagine the power in embracing humility, where our accomplishments shine silently, grounded in inner peace and fulfillment. Buddha's wisdom guides us here. A wise man, recognizing that the world is but an illusion, does not act as if it is real, so he escapes the suffering. This reminds us that external validation is like a mirage. It may seem fulfilling, but it often leaves us thirsting for more. When we choose humility, we step away from this endless search for praise, grounding ourselves in an inner strength that doesn't rely on others' approval. One way to practice this humility is by acknowledging the contributions of others whenever you're tempted to boast. When we shift our focus from our own achievements to the support, teamwork, or inspiration we received along the way, we cultivate gratitude and build deeper connections. Imagine you've just completed a big project at work that was a resounding success. Instead of drawing attention to your role, you could express thanks to everyone who contributed, acknowledging their efforts and how they made success possible. This small act not only strengthens bonds but also leaves you feeling fulfilled by the shared accomplishment, rather than solely your own role. Another way to embrace humility is to celebrate privately. When you achieve something meaningful, take a moment to savor it quietly, feeling the satisfaction deeply without the need to broadcast it. By celebrating within, you allow the joy to settle, to become a part of you, unshaken by the opinions or reactions of others. This practice builds a steady, lasting confidence that doesn't depend on applause. It's an unspoken pride in your journey and growth. Choosing humility over self-praise doesn't mean downplaying your worth. It means recognizing that your accomplishments, while valuable, are only one part of who you are. They don't define you, nor do they need to be validated by others. By finding joy in private moments and appreciating the shared efforts around us, we experience a deeper, more genuine sense of fulfillment that lifts us above the fleeting satisfaction of external praise. So, next time you feel the urge to boast, take a breath and look inward. Celebrate your achievements in a way that builds your spirit rather than feeding your ego. Let your actions, not your words, speak to your worth. In choosing humility, you'll find that the respect and admiration you gain from others will be earned quietly, naturally, as a reflection of your genuine character, and not because you sought it. This path leads to a life of deeper satisfaction, where your inner joy and sense of self become the true rewards. Conclusion, bringing it all together. As we come to the close of this journey through the art of mindful speech and intentional living, let's take a moment to reflect on the powerful transformations that can unfold when we commit to these practices. Each principle, whether it's gratitude over complaint, empathy over criticism, or humility over boasting, serves as a guide for creating a life filled with peace, compassion, and authenticity. Every conversation becomes an opportunity to uplift, every word a chance to heal rather than harm. These lessons aren't just ideas, they're tools for shaping a life of genuine connection. When we speak with intention and listen with an open heart, we experience the richness of relationships rooted in understanding and respect. We learn that true strength comes not from proving ourselves, but from embracing others and ourselves just as we are. And as we practice gratitude, empathy, and self-compassion, we open up to a world of inner peace that radiates outwards, touching everyone we meet. Buddha's words remind us of the profound impact our speech can have. Words have the power to both destroy and heal. When words are both true and kind, they can change our world. Let these words inspire us to choose our language thoughtfully, to speak with kindness, and to recognize the strength that lies in gentleness and understanding. As you move forward, remember that each small choice contributes to a life of deeper meaning and harmony. These practices of mindful speech, empathy, and humility may seem simple, but they have the power to transform not only your relationships but also your inner life. Embrace them with intention, and watch how they bring more peace, clarity, and joy into your world. If this journey resonates with you, we invite you to continue exploring these practices with us. Subscribe for more guidance on mindfulness and personal growth, and join us as we all move toward a more peaceful, compassionate, and fulfilling life. Together, let's create a world where our words and actions inspire hope, connection, and lasting peace. Thank you for joining us on this journey toward mindful living and compassionate speech. If you found inspiration here, please consider subscribing to our channel for more content on personal growth and inner peace. Together, let's keep building a world where our words and actions create harmony and kindness. Thank you, and we look forward to seeing you in the next video.